She thought she won. That was the story she told herself the night she walked away, the night she smiled like victory lived in her veins. And pride wrapped itself around her shoulders like a crown. To her, leaving wasn't betrayal. It was liberation. But what she didn't know was that life was quietly keeping score. And the day would come when every choice, every lie, every moment of selfishness would echo back to her, not as punishment, but as truth. And truth has a way of arriving when we least expect it. My name is Ayan, and once I loved her with everything in me. She was the kind of woman who walked into a room and made time hesitate, confident, sharp, unapologetically ambitious. I admired that. I believed in her dreams more than my own. I worked late nights, skipped my own plans, saved, sacrificed, struggled, just so we could build a future together. At least, that's what I thought we were doing. But love isn't always reciprocated in the way you give it. Sometimes, you're planting seeds in soil that was never meant to grow with you. It started small. The late replies, the sudden cold tone, the way she stopped laughing at my jokes, a shift so subtle that only someone deeply in love could feel it. I kept telling myself, she's just stressed. She's busy. She needs space. But deep down, I knew there was someone else who now lived in the spaces where I used to exist. One evening, I asked gently, "Is there something you're not telling me?" She looked at me, not with guilt, not with sadness, but with superiority, as if I had become too small for the world she wanted to conquer. She said words I'll never forget. "You're a good man, but you're not enough for the life I want." Just like that, years of love, compressed into a single sentence, a clean cut, no hesitation. She walked away, like a winner leaving a battlefield, and I stood there with a heart that hadn't yet realized it had been defeated. Days turned into weeks. Everyone said, "Move on. Forget her. You deserve better." But heartbreak doesn't respond to logic. You don't unlove someone just because they stopped loving you. You grieve the future that never got the chance to exist. The memories replay, the laughter echoes, the promises haunt, and the emptiness becomes your only companion. But life has a strange way of rebuilding us right when we think we are finished. I stopped chasing closure. Instead, I started chasing myself. I worked harder, learned new skills, built discipline, grew emotionally and mentally, not to prove anything to her, but to rebuild the man that heartbreak had fractured. Pain became my teacher. Loneliness became my trainer. Silence became my mirror. And slowly, I transformed. Not louder, not colder, just wiser. Years passed. I didn't search for her, didn't check her social media, didn't ask mutual friends about her life. I moved forward, even when memories tried to pull me back. And then one day, life brought us face to face again. Not planned, not expected, just inevitable. It was at a corporate conference. I was invited there as a guest speaker, something I could have never imagined years ago. As I finished my presentation, I stepped off the stage, and there she was, standing in the crowd, no longer glowing with confidence, no longer carrying that victorious smile. Time had softened her. Life had humbled her. Her eyes met mine. In that moment, I didn't feel anger. I didn't feel resentment. I felt peace, because I had finally outgrown the version of me who once begged for her love. She walked toward me slowly. "Ayan, you've changed," she whispered. I smiled gently. I had to. She hesitated, searching for words that once came so easily. I thought choosing differently would make me happier, but I lost more than I realized. Her voice cracked. I lost someone who would have never given up on me. For years, I had imagined this moment, what I would say, how I would react. But standing there, I understood something powerful. Closure doesn't come from hearing regret. Closure comes from becoming someone who no longer needs it. I didn't respond with bitterness. I didn't ask why. I didn't reopen wounds that had already healed. Instead, I simply said, we were meant to learn from each other, not stay forever. She nodded, and in her silence, I heard everything she never said years ago. As she walked away that day, she wasn't the winner anymore, because life had shown her the truth. Winning isn't leaving someone who loved you. Winning is loving the right person at the right time and staying. But she realized it too late. She thought she won, until life proved she had lost someone who would have chosen her in every lifetime. And I didn't win either. I simply healed. And sometimes healing is the greatest victory of all.